Not an expert in IT, but I have spent my life trying to understand the phenomenon that we see in Toyota and trying to understand how to take these ideas and make them useful, apply them in a useful way in all sorts of different sectors. And IT is, for me, another sector. It is one of the frontiers of Lean, as Marie-Pierre suggests. Now, I always have to start any task by defining what the problem is I'm trying to solve. And I'm going to do that today. I think a few years ago, we saw the rise of the big software giants, and we thought this might be a new way of management, a new model for managers to focus on that would provide a different way of running our businesses in the future. And maybe even surpassing Toyota is the example that everybody is studying to date. However, as those companies grow into their second generation in many cases, we see that, in fact, those companies are facing very similar problems to traditional manufacturing businesses or service businesses that have grown up maybe more slowly in the past. These companies have grown very rapidly and are experiencing all exactly the same problems. And it's very interesting that many of them are reaching to experts in Lean from traditional industries to help them answer their problems. So actually, all of the problems that a second-generation organization that's very large, very substantial globally, they face very much the same kinds of problems. So actually, I'm not convinced that there's a different model. I'm convinced that there's a different style, and that's very attractive. But I'm more and more convinced that the problems of running big existing organizations are actually common. Yes, the processes in software are different, but they are as different from the 8 other different types of processes that I've identified in spreading Lean to all kinds of other industries. In each case, the type of process means starting in a different point with a different key or a different trigger to unlock it, but actually, in the end, needs the deployment of the full portfolio of tools and thinking to address the needs of that process. So actually, my arguments are, I think, based upon the fact that the challenges of running big organizations and transforming those big organizations are actually common, whether it's a software business or whether it's a manufacturing business or a service business. Having said that, I want to explore in this talk the contributions of 3 perspectives that need to come together and understand each other. The IT folks, who come from a very different place, the Lean folks, who've been transforming and learning how to transform their way of thinking, or learning to act their way into a new way of thinking for several years, and the perspective of the CEO. So the IT folks need to understand the Lean folks, and both the IT folks and the Lean folks need to understand the perspective of the CEO. And the Lean folks have not always been very good at also understanding the perspective of the CEO. And Michael and several others have been struggling to see how we connect the Lean activities that we are engaged in with the results that the organization, the CEO and the organization is trying to achieve. So those 3 sets of folks need to hear each other, understand where they're coming from, understand the value of the different perspectives, and cross-learn so that there's an alignment. Because if we're all pulling in different directions, then we ain't going to achieve the results that we're looking for. So I'm going to do that using the 5 principles from Lean thinking, which have survived the tests of time, have proven to be extraordinarily robust, and are still a very useful framework for using to test these ideas, because they break down the 5 core elements of Lean very nicely. So that's what I'm going to use. And what I'm interested in, and I hope you'll be interested in too, is what does this tell us about the transformation process, the Lean transformation process itself in any organization? And what can it tell us about the future. When we design the next generation organizations, next generation products, services, systems, tooling, routes to market, when we get beyond thinking forward from our existing assets to thinking back from the needs of our customers and the opportunities of the technology, to thinking about designing fundamentally new ways of delivering value, that I think is the ultimate threshold from this lean experience of redesigning and redesigning traditional organizations. So that's the problem that I want to tackle today.